darkness, only with the TV light to keep me company at the moment, as I'm getting ready to do kind of impromptu like the Cleveland Baltimore game. Recording it Sunday, the 6th of December, 5:29 p.m., and it's just getting dark here in Florida on a cloudy, 70-degree day. But it would help if I turned my microphone on, wouldn't it? There we go. How you doing, folks? So we got Cleveland and Baltimore. That'll be the first game of Week 16. I did get that right, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, folks. I'm sorry for the mix-up. Sometimes I don't realize I don't have my microphone in position. This little thing over here. So it's all set up and all ready to go. As far as the schedule goes, next 2 weeks will be normal. I wasn't going to do a game Christmas Eve, but we're going to do the first four first round games of the playoffs. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I'm going to put up very early, like say noon or so, and then next week we do the second half of the first round of the playoffs, and that'll be 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. Then the following week, the first week of the new year, we do the conference championships, and then the next week, Monday and Tuesday, I'll do the semis, and then Friday night, the 15th, the HTFL championship game number one. I can't call it the but I'm trying to think of a name for the first HTFL championship game, and I will ask anybody watching on YouTube if they have an idea. If they do, I might just use it. Sorry, folks. Now, you actually heard that cough for a change. Usually, I'm a hacking fool when I'm doing these games sometimes, and um, eh, it's just the way it is sometimes. Especially with the weather changing the way it is. Like it wasn't too bad on Friday, but on Saturday it got a little cooler, and then today and tomorrow it's getting a little cooler. Still, cooler being a kind of a loose word here with Florida weather. So stand by, folks. We'll be getting underway in 20 seconds. And I'll talk to you about this Cleveland Baltimore game. It's a big one. Just put it to you like that. And we'll be getting underway in a few seconds. Big Polly's World of Sports Sims proudly presents the HTFL football game of the day. And today we got Cleveland and we got Baltimore coming at you. And this is an important game, even though both teams have repped up playoff spots, because the winner will win the lower North Division. They will own the tiebreaker either way in the event of a tie. If Cleveland wins, they have the head-to-head sweep. If Baltimore wins, they have the divisional record lead. And if it winds up being a tie, Cleveland will have the head-to-head advantage. So we'll get this first game, first of the five streamed or video gamed game we have on video, because we just did a whole bunch on the recap show, and now we are going to go through the five best games and play them individually. Baltimore, a 3-point favorite to win, and whoever wins will be locked in as the number 2 seed. A light rain in Baltimore, calm conditions, 45 degrees. I control Baltimore, computer controls Cleveland. We'll get this started. Baltimore makes the first half choice. They will receive. Cleveland won the toss. I saw Cincinnati today play in Miami down here in Florida on the first CBS game, which is why there is confusion. Otto Graham and Johnny Unitas are your quarterback. Paul Brown, Brian Billick coaching the respective teams. Billick coaching the Ravens, combination of the Ravens post Cleveland and the Colts pre the move to Indianapolis. So it's Lewis, Hildenbrand, and Laird back deep. Baltimore in blue. And Cleveland in their murky white and orange. And we're underway. Looks like that was Lewis. And his return goes to the 27, a pickup of 24 yards. For Baltimore, the starting offense will go like this. It is Lewis and Washington. At running back, Moore and Alexander are going to be your wideouts, and I see that Cleveland has not fallen into the trap of putting a linebacker up against Lenny Moore. Heap, the tight end. Unitas out of Louisville, your quarterback. Ogden, Yanda, Curry, Grubbs, Vogel, your offensive line. For Cleveland, it's Ford, Burnett, Rimkus, and Shirk. Banks, Johnson, and Matthews at linebacker. Dixon, Minifield, Darden, and James will be your defensive backs. And on 1st and 10, this is just going to be a quick off-tackle right play to Jamal Lewis, who finds a hole, gains 5 yards. Baltimore this season, they started out 0-2 with losses to Cincinnati and Kansas City, but since then they have gone 9-3, and they lost last week to New England 28-23. But all in all, a pretty good year. They are 3rd in points offensively, 10th in defensive surrendering of points at 23.2. And that's how they have gotten here. They are making the playoffs, but we just don't know whether they will be the 3 seed or the 4 seed yet. Likely they will be one of the two. Joe Washington off tackle right, 2nd and 5. He finds the hole and he picks up a first down. They'll go to Lenny Moore on the slant, 1st and 10 at the 37. That's incomplete. Lewis will get it on the trap left on 2nd and 10. And Lewis finds a hole. Tackled by Darden, a gain of 14 yards. Nicely done by Jamal Lewis. That sets up now a 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 49. You're just joining us, we have no score, and we have Baltimore moving into Cleveland territory on a rainy 45-degree day at M&T Bank Stadium. Lenny Moore, medium cross, 1st and 10. There's the throw. It was thrown underneath to Lewis, and he gained another 13 yards. Chip Banks on the tackle for Cleveland. And it's a 1st and 10 at the 36. Lewis off tackle left. And Lewis picks up 5. A tackle by Rimkus there. 7th play of the drive coming up. It seems like this drive has gone on longer. But we will go Joe Washington off tackle left. And there goes Joe. A pickup of 10 yards. Minifield making the stop for Cleveland. And Baltimore moving the ball nicely to this point. A 1st and 10 at the 21. They're going to go heap, and they're going to go medium crossing route. This has a 47% chance of scoring, but it's incomplete. And Unitas has started 1 for 3 for 13 yards. But over the season, he has proven he could play with those young whippersnappers. Jamal Lewis, a dive. And he is stuffed at the line, no gain. 3rd and 10 at the 21. We'll go shotgun motion, medium pass, and we'll look to Alexander. Possible man being played and deployed by Cleveland. That is to Alexander. He made the first down, a gain of 10. Ball at the 11. We'll go Lewis, dive play. And Lewis straight ahead, 5 yards. So this will be the 12th play of the drive. The drive has taken already now 6 minutes and 15 seconds. We'll go Washington off tackle right, 2nd and 5 from the 6. And Washington inching a little closer, a gain of 4 yards. A 3rd and 1 from the 2. And what do you do here? We're going to go Joe Washington on a dive. And a fumble. And Heap recovered it for no gain. And it will be a 4th and 1 from the 2. And what do you do here? 14th play of the drive. I'm going to try to sneak it over with Unitas. And he's got it, a touchdown. Gutsy call there. Of course, I'm running Baltimore. 14 plays, 73 yards, 823. Some championship football there out of Baltimore. And a kick good by Tucker. 7-0 Baltimore. So whoever wins this game will likely get their foe today in 2 weeks' time. Metcalf, Mitchell, and Motley back deep for Cleveland. And it goes into the end zone for a touchback. The offense for Cleveland will go like this. Brown and Pruitt, your running backs. Mitchell and Warfield at wideout. Winslow at tight end. Otto Graham, your quarterback. Thomas, Hickerson, Mack. Petonio and Shafrath, your your offensive linemen for Baltimore. The front four. See, I'm thinking ahead again. Marchetti, Nagata, Lemskin, and Donovan. Hendricks, Lewis, Suggs, your linebackers. McAllister, Keene, Reed, and Volk. Those are your defensive backs. And on 1st and 10, let's see what Cleveland does. This is a screen to Pruitt. And Pruitt with a very nice gain of 27 yards. Looking at how Cleveland has done this season, they started 2-0, the kind of the antithesis of how Baltimore started. First in points, first in rushing average, first in touchdowns, touchdown percentage on passing, and they are 9-5. Their most recent loss came to New York, 28-27, but since then they beat Pittsburgh 34-17, and in a shootout last week they beat St. Louis 48-38. You saw that game a few days ago. 1st and 10 at the 47 for Cleveland. This is Jim Brown, no stranger to the HTFL by now, a gain of 2. Terrell Suggs makes the tackle for Baltimore. 2nd and 8 at the 49. This is Pruitt. Pruitt picks up 6. It'll be 3rd and 2, and Ray Lewis made the tackle there for Baltimore. A 3rd and 2 at the 45 now to Brown, and Brown down 15 yards to the 30. As I am recording this, Green Bay leading Philadelphia at the half, 14-3, but that's the real-life 2020 season. And Brown picking up 5. 2nd and 5 at the 25 now. 6th play of the drive for Cleveland. This is going to be an end around. And that went to Bobby Mitchell, who gained 9. And Lewis again on the tackle. 1st and 10 at the 16. Brown, a little closer, 5 more yards. And Cleveland proving themselves a worthy contender for this No Lower North Championship. Moving the ball quite nicely after Baltimore had a very long drive. 2nd and 5 at the 11. It's Graham, and he is tackled by Lewis, a 1-yard gain. So it was not a sack. Jim Benton comes in as the 3rd wide receiver, and he also wears a 49, so it's Benton, the split end on the left side, Bobby Mitchell in the slot, and Paul Warfield on the right side, split end side. 3rd and 4. Brown over the middle, an easy touchdown. Number 22 on the year for him. And it is now 7-6, and your point after try good by Matt Barr. And we are dead even 7-7. We still have 11 seconds left in the opening quarter. Lewis back deep for Baltimore. There's your kick. No wind, by the way, so neither team's going to have a wind advantage. It was Hillenbrand returning at 36 yards to the 37, and that'll do it. For quarter number 1, we are dead even at 7-7. Baltimore 14 plays, 73 yards. Cleveland 9 plays, 80 yards. Trap left Lewis on 1st and 10 from the 37, and Lewis into the secondary, and he's clear. A gain of 29 yards. Menafield on the stop at the 34. We'll go Lenny Moore on the slant, first and 10 at the 34. And that's a pickup of 4. Ford, who is one of the defensive ends, is out for the game with an injury. So Jack Gregory out of Delta State, comes in. It'll be 2nd and 6. It'll be a screen. No, it won't be. It'll be off tackle right to Joe Washington, but a blitz coming. So now we will adhere to our original plan of going to the screen, but it's incomplete. 3rd and 6. Ball at the 30. Lenny Moore on the medium crossing route. And it's complete to Moore at the 10. At the 5, he is in. A 30-yard strike. 32nd touchdown pass of the season for Unitas. The extra point, good by Tucker, 14-7. So after a long first drive, it only takes 4 plays for Baltimore to score the second time, 63 yards and a $1.31. That's all they needed. And it is a 14-7 Ravens lead. And Eric Metcalf, we had the game last week with the Metcalf family. Eric Metcalf returning kicks for Cleveland and Terry Metcalf doing the same for St. Louis. But this was a touchback, and it's 1st and 10 Cleveland at their own 20. And this pass was an incomplete pass. Graham was hurt on the play. And this could be a big game changer here, as Milt Plum, who's a very accurate passer, but I don't think he has the long arm Otto Graham has, comes into the game as a backup quarterback, and here he goes, 2nd and 10 at the 20. He wears 16. And Jim Brown will have to pick up the slack. He does so nicely there, 12 yards. Brown 154 yards last week against St. Louis. A 1st and 10 at the 32. So we've had a surprise development with Graham being out, injuring his leg. 2-yard gain for Brown. Brown is now at 6 carries and 36 yards. 2nd and 8 at the 34. Brown again, picking up 4. A 3rd and 4 at the 38. Plum to Brown, picking up 5. 1st and 10 at the 43. Plum was a record setter back in the 60s.
Pass interference, defense. Number 20, 10-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Pass interference on somebody. It does not say who. 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 47. Plum was a record breaker for throwing accurately. And speak of the devil, look at that. Volk with the interception, and Baltimore in business at the 42. So maybe I jinxed them there. Pitch right Davis, 1st and 10 at the 42. And back to the line, and that is it. Clay Matthews on the tackle. You see him there. That is the father of the current Clay Matthews, who plays for the Packers. Short pass to Joe Washington, which Cleveland is playing tight on the line, so we're going to go medium fly to Lenny Moore on 2nd and 10 at the 42. There he goes. Gain of 21. Unitas was 348 last week in a 20 for 40 effort, a pick and 2 touchdowns. If Baltimore wins, whoever wins this game will own the tiebreaker if both teams wind up tied for the division lead. Off tackle right, Lewis. A blitz coming, so it's going to be a screen to Joe Washington on 1st and 10 at the 37. And again, Unitas cannot get it to Washington on the screens. Unitas is 4 for 8, 74 yards. Trap right, Lewis. And again, he finds positive yardage, a gain of 5. 3rd and 5 at the 32, and we'll go Heap on the medium out. It's a dump off to Lewis. Lewis gets the first down, a pickup of 11. Lewis have 2 catches for 24 yards. Unitas 5 of 9 for 85. This is going to be a long fly to Alexander in the 3 wide out set. 1st and 10. Alexander has 6 points, a touchdown. (20-7) in favor of Baltimore. Your point after good, a 6-play, 58-yard drive, and it's 21-7 in favor of Baltimore. As I was saying, whoever wins this game will own the tiebreaker if the teams go to the end of the regular season tied. So this is a very important game. Baltimore would likely, if they hold on and win, they would be the 2 seed. Whoever wins will be the 2 seed most likely, and whoever loses would likely be the 3 seed, but it's still possible Minnesota could win 2, and whoever loses today could lose, and we'd have to look at the tiebreakers there. That was a touchback on the kickoff. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Cleveland, and Brown. With Otto Graham gone, Cleveland becomes very one-dimensional. And Brown, a 1-yard gain. Gino Marchetti on the tackle. 2nd and 9 at the 21. This is going to be a pitch to Brown, and Brown picks up 5 yards. 3rd and 4 at the 26. 5:59 left in the half. In a 21-7 game, that was to Bobby Mitchell, who gains 5, moved the chains, and it's a 1st and 10 for Cleveland. Plum looking, incomplete. That was attempted for Jim Brown to catch, but no such luck. 2nd and 10 at the 31. Here's your throw, incomplete to Pruitt. 3rd and 10 at the 31 now. Warfield, a gain of 7. 4th and 3 at the 38. And Cleveland will be punting. Gary Collins back to punt. And that's a good punt by Collins, and it went 48, and Jermaine Lewis returned it 9 yards to the 23. We have 3:33 left in the second quarter. Trays are wild. Pitch right. Jamal Lewis. And again, we see that Cleveland is blitzing, so it's going to be a screen to Lewis this time. And this time the screen works, and it's close to the first down. In fact, it is a first down. So now, a 1st and 10 at the 33. We're going to sweep it with Lewis. And that's a gain of 3. Setting up 2nd and 7. We'll go Joe Washington off tackle to the right side. And he's stuffed at the line. A loss of a yard, actually. Bringing up 3rd and 8 with 2:08 left. Cleveland calls a timeout. Medium out, Lenny Moore. Instead, it was a throw deep to Roger Carr, and it's good for 38 yards. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. It's all Baltimore right now at 21-7. Baltimore with 3 timeouts left, and the Browns with 2. Baltimore firing on all cylinders today after a close loss to New England last week. No gain. And they'll hurry to the line. They're going to go heap on the short cross on 2nd and 10 at the 27. And that went to Alexander instead, a gain of 6. Now with 3rd down coming, I'll use a timeout. And it'll be 3rd and 4. We're going to go Roger Carr again on the short crossing route. That's incomplete. Got by Carr. On 4th and 4, Justin Tucker comes in from 38 to make it a 3-score game, which he does. 24-7 Baltimore. With 1:26 left to go. Metcalf back deep, but he is not needed. It's a touchback. First and 10 at the 20. Cleveland with 2 timeouts on a minute 26. Bennett, plumb to Benton, incomplete. Second and 10 at the 20. That went to Benton, a gain of 9. Not going to help Cleveland by calling a timeout. Cleveland uses one of theirs. They have one left. Third and a yard at the 29. Pruitt with a wide open space past the 50, down to the 39, a pickup of 32. First and 10. The ball at the Baltimore 39 now. And that is Benton again with another gain of 17. Plum has started 5 of 9, 43 yards and an interception. First and 10 at the Baltimore 22. To Brown on the screen, but it was an overthrow, incomplete. Second and 10 at the 22. Shout out to the Digital to Dice crew. They had a nice little chat last night. Last night being Saturday night as I record this. And I mentioned the HTFL, and some people were asking me about it. So glad to be of help. We had a new subscriber or two to the channel. We're up to about 85 subscribers. Third and 10. Big play. Bounces off of Mitchell.
Offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty.
Batonio called for holding. And we will decline it to get the fourth down. And this is going to be Barr from 39. And he finds all sevens there, 24-10. We have 32 seconds now left in the opening half. And I'm going to return it. This is going to be Lewis, 2 yards deep. And he is up to the 27, a return of 29. 22 seconds left. I got the ball to start the first half, so I don't think I have anything to lose trying to go downfield here. Heap on a medium hitch, 22 seconds. Incomplete. Second and 10. 15 seconds left to go now. We'll go Alexander on a medium hitch, medium slant play. Cleveland playing back. It is caught by Lenny Moore, who had 113 yards last week. 9 seconds left. And on 3rd and 2 from the 35, I will just chuck it up here and hope Johnny U can imitate Aaron Rodgers with a very long passing play here. Unitas scrambles. Gain of 3. Did they run out of time? No, 3 seconds to go. And Baltimore still has 1 timeout. Can't run the Hail Mary here, so we're just going to chuck this baby up and see what happens. And we will go to Roger Carr and hope for the touchdown. There it goes. Bounces off of Carr's hands, and we have reached halftime. Your score is Baltimore 24 and Cleveland 10. The winner of this game will win the lower North Division, and I will be right back. So, as I was saying, 24-10, Baltimore in front. The winner of this game wins the lower north. If Baltimore wins, they win the tiebreaker on division record, and there would be no way that Cleveland could do any better than a tie. Cleveland wins or ties, they win the division. So, and the winner will likely be the 2 seed. The loser would probably be the 3 seed. Cleveland 28 plays, 179 yards. Baltimore 35 for 261. Metcalf back deep for Cleveland, and let's see if they can mount a comeback here on 1st and 10 from the 20. And we'll update the stats as we can. This is Jim Brown, a gain of a yard. He is at 10 carries and 47 yards. You got four players on the Baltimore defense at 10, and you got one Ted plus in Ed Reed. Second and 9 at the 21. Plum in traffic throws to Brown. He gains 8. Keene out for the game with a rib injury. He is one of the corners. So Charlie Stukes comes in. Brewster comes in as a second tight end on this formation, third and a yard at the 29. Brown, no gain. Art Donovan on the tackle. I'll watch for the fake punt on fourth and a yard from the 29. And this is Lewis. Nothing on the return. A punt at 49 yards. First and 10 at the 22. And we have Jamal Lewis trapping to the right side, but we're going to go medium slant instead to Lenny Moore. And Moore, off of his hands, incomplete. Unitas 10 of 16 for a $168. Baltimore as a team running at 18 times, 93 yards, a 5.2 average. Dive, Lewis, second and 10. Just try to cut the yardage down a bit. And it cuts it down 4 yards to make it third and 6. We're going to go for Moore, a short out. Make the sideline your friend, and that's a first down, a pickup of 7. Moore, 4 carries, 66 yards, and if you're wondering how he has been doing on the season, 31 yards is his 31 catches for 636, and he has rushed the ball 20 times for 59. First and 10. But a lot of these teams in the HTFL have been establishing their run game and making that a priority. So a lot of the best receivers ever to play have not been utilized as much as you would think they would. In this instant, we're going to go Lewis on a trap right, first and 10, with 3 wide, opening up the running lanes, a gain of 5 yards. Back to Moore. Slant, second and 5. A marker is down. Gregory blindsides Unitas. And they will decline the penalty. That was a painful looking hit. And now third and 13. They'll put a man in motion, and they're going to go Moore on a cross. We'll see what happens here. Incomplete as that bounces off of Lenny Moore. He has had 2 drops on the day. A 4th and 13. Sam Cook into punt. I assume it is pronounced the same way Dave Cook Sports is pronounced, but I could be incorrect about that. That's a 47-yard punt, returned 10 by Eric Metcalf. First and 10, Cleveland at the 33. They are still in striking distance at 24-10. They trail. So let's see what happens. Plum deflected off of Lewis and incomplete, looking for Mike Pruitt. Second and 10 at the 33. Plum over the middle. That was a nice grab by Kellen Winslow Jr., who gained 13 yards, his first catch of the day. Plum is now 7 for 15, 64 yards, and a touchdown. An interception, I'm sorry. This is to Brown. Brown picked up 2. He is at 12 carries and 49 yards. A second and 8 at the 48. To Brown again, a gain of 4. That's 4 catches for Brown and 32 yards. If Brown's not having the best of days, so it might be advantage Walter Payton when the Bears play the Vikings later on during this week of the HTFL play. Third and 4th, the 48 of Baltimore. Plum's going to run. Gain of a yard. 4th and 3, I'll watch for the fake punt, because that's my thing. And that went out of bounds. Gary Collins punting it 30 yards to the 17. Midway through the third, 7:48 left. It is still 24-10 Baltimore. A win most likely makes them the 2 seed. And they would probably get Cleveland again if that happens in the first round of the playoffs. But they would have home field advantage. Pitch. Lewis. And Lewis gaining 13. He now has 13 carries and 88 yards. This is going to be Moore on a jet sweep. And he gains 3 yards. 2nd and 7. That's the old give it to the motion man play. 2nd and 7. Dive for Joe Washington. A heavy blitz called, so it's going to be a screen here to Washington instead. And this time they get it to Washington on the screen, and he's got a lot of real estate in front of him. 22 yards. 1st and 10 at the 45 of Cleveland. 6:06 to go. Jamal Lewis on the dive. And he gains another 3. So he's at 14 carries and 91 yards. Short slant to Lenny Moore. This time Moore is there, a pickup of 12. Unitas now 13 of 22, 209 yards. That was Darton on the tackle. And Baltimore trying to get a score that would get them 3 scores ahead again. They held late in the first half, but Cleveland got a field goal to cut it back to 14, and that's where we have been since. Clay Matthews on the tackle of Lewis, no gain. 2nd and 10 at the 30, and this is Moore. Long fly. Moore, touchdown, Baltimore. Moore's 2nd of the day. 6 catches and 108 yards. 30-10 in favor of Baltimore. And the kick is good by Tucker. 31-10 with 3:15 now left in the third. Metcalf, Mitchell, Motley, and a touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20. To Pruitt, and Pruitt a gain of 4. Pruitt on the day, 3 carries, 42 yards. He also has a catch for 27. A 2nd and 6 at the 24. Plum, deflected by somebody. It was tipped by Stukes. 3rd and 6 at the 24. Incomplete. That was intended for Benton, but just beyond his grasp. And I'll set up for the return here. Lewis, a fair catch at the 25. 2:14 now left third quarter. Off tackle right, Jamal Lewis, which will likely be his 16th carry of the day. But hold on, folks. A fumble recovered by Cleveland.
Defense, number 44, 5-yard penalty.
Rimkus just blew the turnover, which would have given Cleveland very good field position. And that's going to give Baltimore instead a 1st and 10 at the 30. We'll go back to Lewis on the dive. Give him a chance to redeem himself, and he loses a yard. Remkus making the tackle. We'll go Roger Carr on a medium cross, and a marker before the play.
Defense, number 44, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Make it 2nd and 6 now. Screen to Lewis. And he was well covered. Incomplete. 3rd and 6. So Unitas is going to go to Heap here on the slant. Looked like he was open, but they couldn't get the ball to him. Incomplete. 1:19 now left. Koch will punt. 4th and 6 from the 34. 34 being the line of scrimmage.
Illegal block. Receiving team.
They get James, Tommy James, for the hold, or illegal block, and Cleveland now in a hole at their own 11. 1st and 10 from there. Brown. A fumble recovered by Baltimore.
The previous play is under review.
They'll look at it.
Ruling on the field stands.
So Baltimore and Nagata might have just salted this game for the Ravens. We'll go Lewis off tackle right. They might run 3 running plays here. Loss of a yard. 2nd and 11. double tight. We'll go Washington off tackle right. Gain of 3 yards. 3rd and 8. Let's get to the fourth quarter. End of 3. It's 31-10 in favor of Baltimore. Cleveland 213, 40 plays. Baltimore 52 plays for 353. We're gonna put Unitas to work. Bootleg. And Unitas got smothered by Burnett. A loss of 6. Well, so much for that. 4th and 14. Tucker will try a field goal from 33. Oh, he pushed it left. No good. Gary Collins comes in as a 4th wide receiver. So let's reset the receivers for Cleveland. It's Benton up top, the left split end. The left slot back is Bobby Mitchell. The right slot back is Paul Warfield. The right split end is Gary Collins. 1st and 10 at the 23. To Jim Brown, stuffed behind a line for a loss of a yard. That's going to set up 2nd and 11 from the 22. Plum looking around, throwing, intercepted. And this is going to be pick 6. Chris McAllister. His 3rd interception of the year. This is a pick 6, 37-10. And Baltimore can now smell that division championship. Your point after good by Tucker, 38-10 with 13:26 to go. Here's Metcalf. Another touchback. So Plum has thrown 2 picks now. He's 8 of 19. He's got 68 yards. See what he does here on 1st and 10. And it's Lipscomb up the middle and just smacking Plum to the ground. And it's now 2nd and 12 at the 18. This is over the middle of the 49, which would be Bobby Mitchell. Could be Bobby Mitchell, could be Benton. That's a gain of 11. 3rd and a yard. The ball to 29. End around. Huge play here. A 25-yard gain for Mitchell, which is going to count.
5-yard penalty.
Art Donovan called for encroachment, so that'll make the play stand. 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 46, but Cleveland needs 4 scores in a little over 11 and a half minutes. That's a gain of 3 for Jim Brown. Brown out at 52 yards. 2nd and 7 at the 43. So the rushing lead between Brown and Walter Payton will continue to go back and forth. Payton would just need a mediocre day to retake the lead. 3rd and 7 at the 43. After that incompletion, screen off of Warfield, incomplete. 4th and 7, and Cleveland will go for it. We're going to run a 4-1 dime formation zone pass. Look for the pass. And we were looking for the pass, but the pass still found Paul Warfield, a gain of 10. In the game I'm watching in real time, Green Bay just scored. They're up 20-3 on Philadelphia. 1st and 10 at the 33. And that game is not on Fox, it's on CBS. Kind of the weird thing they do where teams from the opposite conference will play each other on the opposite network. 2nd and 10 at the 33. After that incomplete pass, looking for Bobby Mitchell. Here's the 2nd and 10 play. Brown gaining 12.
Personal foul. Offense. Number 75, 15-yard penalty.
Antonio got into a scrap with somebody, and that cost Cleveland big, a personal foul. 2nd and 25 at the 48. I'm sure some of you have seen by now that regrettable incident in Texas where a highly talented young man for one of the schools there got into a fight with a player on another team, and then when he was kicked out of the game, he came back on the field and he assaulted the referee. 3rd and 25 at the 48, and that school was kicked out of the playoffs just because of that one player's action. 3rd and 25 at the 48. And you hate to see that, but at the same time, that was the right call to kick the team out of the tournament because you can't have high school players intimidating referees. And I totally support Texas's decision to kick that team out of the playoff tournament that they were in. 4 for 12 at the 35. That was a gain of 13. Plum to Benton. And we'll see what they can do here on this do or die down. That is, I wanted to say it was Mitchell, but it was Benton. A gain of 13 and a first down. First and 10 at the 22. This is Benton again. Benton's had a big day. 5 catches, 74 yards. And Cleveland has scored 38-16. And your point after good by Matt Barr. 38-17. We'll watch for the onside kick. And Cleveland elected not to use it. And it's Lewis returning at 23 yards to the 28. Of course, there was that brawl between Florida International and Miami a few years ago. Actually, I would say now it's been more than a decade. And Miami was going probably to a bowl that year. Pitch right to Jamal Lewis on first and 10, 7:38 to go. And there was a fracas after an extra point because the two schools were very, very close to each other. That took 15 minutes to get resolved. And the president of Miami at the time was Donna Shalala. And she saw that fight and said, "You guys aren't going to a bowl. You guys aren't going to a bowl. You're going to act like that." And it was the right call. Pitch right to Jamal Lewis, 2nd and 8. Of course, I just ran a pitch right, so Cleveland was all over it like a cheap blanket, and that's no gain. 3rd and 8. Joe Washington. Well, I was going to run a screen, but I ran a pitch right. Oh well. Gain of a yard. And with 6:09 now left in the game, Baltimore punts again. Here's Koch. Metcalf. Not a bad return for him, but they get a blocking penalty. So Cleveland now has to start at their own 19, 5:29 to go. First and 10 on the 19. That went to Gary Collins, who also has been punting. Gain of 10, but short of the first down. 2nd and inches at the 29. Plum will go deep. Warfield off of his hands. 2 drops on the day for Paul. He has a nice first name. 3rd and inches at the 29. Plum looking for Brown, incomplete. 4th and inches. And I'll watch for the fake here because if you're Cleveland, why wouldn't you fake punt? Lewis caught it at the 30, returned it 3 yards to the 33. The punt went 41, so the net was 38. And that's exactly the score Baltimore has right now. They're at 38-17. Unitas is going to come out of the game, and they are going to put in, let's see here, they're going to go with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco comes into the game, the longtime Baltimore Raven. And Jamal Lewis will come out, and they are going to bring in Allen, the horse, Amici. And Amici will get the ball, trap right on 1st and 10. Flacco to Amici. Gain of 1. Of course, Amici was famous for scoring the game-winning touchdown of the greatest game ever played. The sudden death overtime game between the Colts and the Giants in 1958. We'll go to Amici again, 2nd and 9. A game of 7. Vogel holding 2nd and 19. And they just did not too long ago when the NFL had their 100th season last year. They ran through the 100 greatest games in NFL history, and deservingly, the Giants-Colts game of 58, the championship, was number 1. Moore, medium crossing route, 2nd and 19. That's incomplete. Why am I throwing it here? I shouldn't even be doing that. Off tackle right, Allen Amici. And that's a gain of 4. And Baltimore was going to call a timeout and just let that clock run down to 3:23. Might surprise you that a very young high school student who later became a broadcaster was at that game, who has now been called he has now called NFL games in 7 different decades. And I've mentioned him here on before because he has a website and he does blog entries, and that man is Dick Stockton. Coke is going to punt. He called games in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Receiving team.
aughts, teens, and now he has called games in 2020. I can't think of a broadcaster who has called games in football in 7 different decades. Vin Scully called, I think, games in baseball 8 different decades. I believe he started in the late 40s. First and 10 at the 11, but Dick Stockton is the only guy I could think of who has now called a football game in 7 different decades. First and 10 at the 11. I'll get off my horse here. Long throw, Plum. He finds Gary Collins, a gain of 34, his longest catch of the year. As we're in garbage time in the waning moments of this one. First and 10 at the 45. Plum going to throw again. The fumble this time. Recovered by Plum. Loss of 5. 2:40 to go. Second and 15. Plum is 15 to 32 now. Gary Collins, another gain of 16. Collins now 3 catches, 60 yards. First and 10 at the Baltimore 44. 2-minute warning, and Baltimore has 2 timeouts left, and Cleveland with 3. First and 10 at the 44. We'll see if anybody uses theirs. To one of the 49s, that's Benton, and that's incomplete. A second and 10 at the 44 of Baltimore. Need I say any more?
Encroachment defense. Number 89, 5-yard penalty.
Marchetti, encroachment, second and 5 at the 39. Plum, he fumbles. A loss of 7. Plum got it back. So that's 2 fumbles by Plum, recovered by Plum. Third and 12 at the Baltimore 46, a minute 36 to go. Incomplete. Warfield, his 3rd drop of the day. 4th and 12, so this will likely be it. A throw, an incompletion.
Holding offense. Number 73, 10-yard penalty.
And Warfield drops another pass. That's his 4th on the day. And we'll see how Cleveland wants to play it, if they want to get out of here now or they want to get out of here later. Dive. Allen Amici. No gain. Ball now at the 46. We have a minute 24 to go. They're already celebrating in Baltimore. Flacco will take a knee and see if Cleveland calls timeouts. Nope. 41 seconds left. Take another knee. 1 second to go. 4th and 11. And Flacco will just sneak it. And that's it. 38-17 in favor of Baltimore. Baltimore has won the lower North Division, and that will guarantee them at least a 2 seed. There's no way they could catch up to Green Bay. Unitas was the player of the game, and you see there Baltimore had the big lead early, 24-7 at a minute 26 left. Cleveland came back, got a field goal and a touchdown, but it was pretty much all over after the first half. Team stats, 355. Actually, Cleveland outgained Baltimore. They were successful in their one trip to the red zone. Baltimore went 1 out of 2, and they had 354. 9 penalties in the game. It was a well-played game. 64 plays for Cleveland, 62 for Baltimore. Baltimore actually held the ball for a longer period of time, 31-22 to 28-38. So Plum was 36-16. Graham was outdone by Unitas, but Graham only threw 3 passes. Unitas was 14-25, 239, 3 touchdowns, no picks for a 128.2 rating. Jamal Lewis, the best rusher, 19-91. Wait, I was not done with that. Come back here. Come back here with that. sometimes happens where the box score goes awry on me. The leading receiver Moore, 6 for 108, and nobody else had more than that. Leading tackler was Burnett of Cleveland with 9. So even if Cleveland were to win and Baltimore were to lose next week, Baltimore would still be the top team in the lower north at 10-6 because Baltimore would own the divisional record tiebreaker at 10-6. Cleveland's at 9-6. Minnesota. Did Cleveland and Minnesota play each other this year? I wonder. And the answer is no. So Cleveland right now has 68 points to the positive on net points, and Minnesota only has 14. So if they wound up tied, it would likely be Cleveland would get the higher seed because Minnesota right now is only at 14 points to the good on net points. So with that in mind, we go to tomorrow's game, which will be St. Louis and Dallas. Later in the week, we got Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota can clinch their spot into the playoffs with a win. Las Vegas and San Diego will be up on Thursday. Denver and San Francisco will be up on Friday. So I hope you enjoyed these last 56 minutes and change. I enjoyed bringing it to you. This has been Big Paulie saying, we wish you well, no matter where you are and no matter when you see this. I had to think about that for a moment. Godspeed and God bless. We'll do it all again soon. And bye-bye for now, everybody.